Since the end of the Second World War, we've gone from top to mediocre to the bottom in education globally. We gave away our educational system to publishing companies who then turned education into a textbook and standard benchmark-driven system. In other words, a student was given a 600 or 700 page textbook. Their job was to memorize a bunch of useless facts and regurgitate those on standardized exams.
Really, I think the testing has driven education, and that's a real shame. Students really lose a lot of, critical thinking. Teachers tend to have to teach the test.
After I had received my bachelor's degree, I really started to wonder about, have I learned how to think? And I had to come up with the answer of no.
The school I went to before wasn't a really good school.
This notion of warehousing students, which is basically what education has become in the United States today.
In a big high school, you just kind of get lost in the crowd, and you don't really have the hands-on, face-to-face experience.
Large 3,000 to 4,000 student schools in which no one knows anyone. Teachers don't know students' names. Students don't know one another. It feels more like a prison, frankly, than a school.
The previous school I went to, the teacher never remembered my name.
Traditional public school and high schools often have between 2,500 and upwards of 3,000 students in them.
There's too many students in each class, and they just don't get the same attention.
It was not personalized. I was going through school, my teachers didn't care, my classes were 40 people big, and it was a nightmare. It was horrible.
And then if you look at the state of education in New Mexico, we're 48th in a country that's 22nd or 23rd in the world. Therefore, it is just as likely that you would receive a better education in a developing country than you would right here in the United States, and in particular right here in New Mexico. Cottonwood Classical Preparatory School was founded to confront the precarious state of education in the United States today.
We are excited for Mason to be here. He's excited about learning and being challenged.
I'm excited. I think I'm gonna like it.
I was just so grateful and that we had the opportunity to find a school that supported the ideas of teaching kids how to learn.
Years ago, my 3 children, when they were all of school age, and one was in a public school, one was in a charter school, and one had the privilege of going to a private school in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The girls had a very good education. They also had the luxury of their mother being an educator and knowing what to look for. Most people don't have that privilege, and when my son graduated from his school, it was basically like apples and oranges.
There are a couple of things that we used to do traditionally in our educational system in the United States that we've abandoned. And the purpose of this school is to recapture some of the things that made America and its educational system great.
When we started the school, we actually went through quite a process trying to pass the charter, because the public education department didn't particularly see a need for a school like this. They were more worried about the economics, the free buses, the free lunches. We said, no, we need a rigorous college prep school.
Academia here is beyond reproach. I mean, when you're talking about making kids finish high school by 10th grade, you're talking about you're pushing these kids, you're making them step up. And that's one of the things that most kids don't. They go to the lowest common denominator, and what we're trying to do here is go to the highest common denominator, bringing this all together. And when you put all these things in and you've got such supportive families, so you've got a healthy environmental family life, you've got the emotional side taken care of because the family's involved, the school's involved, the athletics is involved, you put it all together on one plate and you've got a rounded kid. You've got kids that start to excel, kids that realize they can accomplish something.
Here I actually have to work hard and challenge myself, which I love to challenge myself. There's a lot of student-teacher interaction, and they just help you out so much, and it's a lot more help than I have ever gotten at any other school.
Cottonwood Classical Preparatory School is basically a revolution in how we approach education in this country. Students of all abilities and all socioeconomic levels are able to come to our school and receive high quality, academically rigorous education.
The idea that you could come here and have an education of that quality, that it would be free, and that it will open all sorts of doors. I mean, that's just a gift for the educational community.
I have an 8th grader and an 11th grader here at Cottonwood, and I would have to say it's better, different from other schools, because I'm actually getting a private school education for them at the cost of a public school.
The older children get in the public school system, I feel the less emotionally connected that they are, and I think that's the fault of the public schools. So what I'm excited about is the size of our classes, the size of our school, and the fact that we can make a difference in a connection with kids. I think that just because kids turn 12, they don't need to sit in a chair all day and just take notes.
The process we follow is called the Pangaea proposal, or the Pangaea method of learning. What that means is that faculty members only didactically teach at students about 10% of the day. The rest of the time is handed over to students so they can have discussions with other members in their classroom, facilitated by the teacher, about primary resource documents in whatever subject it is. Then roughly half to 60% of the rest of the curricular day is spent on students actively engaged in projects in which they apply the knowledge that they briefly got during the didactic lectures, the analysis which they underwent in the discussions, and now the application that they have in the projects.
The success we've had so far at Cottonwood Classical kind of speaks for itself. It's almost like following common sense with courage. Through vision and not through bureaucracy can we kind of keep duplicating this process, this reliance on the student as a learner, and really doing that. I mean, a lot of people give lip service to that, I hear it all the time, but that's really something we're attempting here, and the students really are feeling and experiencing. You can ask any of them.
They really care about you, and they really want you to succeed, and they really want the community to succeed. It's not, Cottonwood Classical isn't, it's focused on the individual more than public schools, but they really, really want you to have the community. They want the individual to be trained to help the community, and the community to help each other.
Cottonwood, it sort of forms that together for you to sort of make you more oriented towards society and just be more aware and learn how to learn as opposed to just learning.
When you go and you say this is what we're doing, people say, well, oh yeah, that sounds great. But when they actually see it and they see the results, well, you say you're doing this and another school might say they're doing the same thing, but what's the difference? And the difference really is that we're really making an honest attempt.
I've been in public education for 25 years, and I currently have my 9th grader enrolled here at Cottonwood Classical Preparatory School. And the reason we chose this school is all it has to offer in terms of a challenging and mind-expanding education. We considered private school, but we're really committed to things that elevate and improve the public schools. The way we see it as a family is that we'd rather work towards something and give our money and time and energy to something that increases the benefits for everyone and not just make a tuition payment. We feel like we're investing in a great education for all students and not just paying tuition.
One thing at Cottonwood Classical Preparatory School that I'm really proud to say is that because we're an international baccalaureate school, we've also recruited international staff. Our physicist is from Egypt. We have several teachers from international baccalaureate schools around the world. One came from Nido out of Santiago, Chile. We also have one that was in Kuwait last year. And then approximately 30% of our staff also have a doctoral degree. So we'd like to recruit top-notch teachers into the system, and that of course costs money.
In order to attract the best qualified teachers and in order to deliver the best curriculum, we need money. It's very expensive. There are very few of these international baccalaureate schools in the Northern Hemisphere that are public in nature. And so what is crucial about our school is that we're giving the same opportunities that many students have at private schools in a public school setting. Being a public school, we get approximately $3,500 per student to educate them. We're following a private school model, and most private schools that follow International Baccalaureate or Pangaea-based learning charge between $17,000 and $25,000 of tuition a year. So in other words, we're trying to provide the best of education, the same kind and quality of education that you would receive in a private school, but at a sixth or a seventh of the operating cost.
Cottonwood Classical Preparatory School is funded in a similar fashion to traditional public school districts. Everyone receives a per student amount. Traditional public school, the state also funds their buildings, their infrastructure, and their technology. Cottonwood Classical Preparatory School has done that all just based on that student funding. We don't receive any money for our buildings, for our technology, or our infrastructure. The important thing is that up until this point, we've made it work. With everything that we've done thus far, we still need a lot more help. We need those people out there that really care about what happens to public education in this country and what happens to the future generations in this country to step up and truly help us move this forward. This model, we've proven that we can do some amazing things with these kids, and we can do some amazing things with our faculty, and we want that to keep moving forward. We don't want to stop in the middle of the process and give up. So we want more beyond our current community, beyond the city of Albuquerque, beyond the state of New Mexico. We really need those people to step up and say, this is something that's really important, and I believe in what's happening here.
Thank you for supporting Cottonwood Classical Preparatory School and our foundation.
Thank you for supporting the Cottonwood Foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci.
Muchas gracias.
شكرا لمساندتكم Cottonwood Classical Foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The deepest thanks from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you for supporting the Cottonwood Classical Foundation.
Your dollars will help to improve public education in the nation. We believe that Cottonwood Classical Preparatory School is at the forefront of educational reform, but we cannot do it alone. We need your help.